Dignity Matters.
Welcome back to part 2 of It's All About the Children, where Sami and I welcome Gwen Jones-Cintron. And we are continuing our conversation. Off camera, we spoke a little bit about words, definitions, and it's making me think a little bit about how some of our words are being weaponized. And one word in particular that came up, and I know you want to ask a question, but it was the word genocide that we talked about a little bit off camera. And I would like to bring it on camera right now because I know that on your website, Sami, you have a piece of information that describes word meanings and what the word geno and what side means.
Right.
And so people will often misuse that word. I mean, you said it in the last taping of our podcast that you were in the park and someone blamed you for what's going on because they used a word that they thought was kind of fun and fancy. But what do you think, either one of you, about what's going on in terms of how words are being weaponized and used in a way that is really hurting?
Okay, that's exactly what I want to ask you a question.
Okay, let's
Great
go.
minds.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
Okay. The one thing is, I want to understand when people are using certain words, and I'm talking about primarily teachers, because they are instructors, they are, the mentors for the young people and everything else. Do they always know the meaning of the word that was expressed, that was said, or do they repeat it because it sounds good? And like, for instance, I see that in your shirt, you have the word impact. Mm-hmm. Do they really understand, the impact that they have on young people by using certain words that it's said in one thing and it means something else? And I'll give an example to understand. There are only 24 states that mandate genocide, Holocaust curriculum. Mm-hmm. Besides the fact that it's not enforced, when I asked somebody that wrote a curriculum about it, approved by the United States and by the Holocaust curriculum in New Jersey, I said, you wrote a wonderful curriculum. How many students are taking your course? And he said 50. I said, wait. This is a state, the first state, that mandated Holocaust curriculum. How come only 50? He said it's an elective course. So we use certain words, and it means absolutely, totally different. And right now, when I heard the word elective, it means absolutely nothing.
I think that must be so painful for you to hear, considering that you survived an actual genocide of the Jewish people. It doesn't get much more hair on the back of my neck than that. The fact that it is not, mandated in 50 states is disturbing. Right. And then add to that the fact that now that it is an elective, and by the way, we have a New York City mayor who basically is I don't even know if it's mandated here anymore. How and again, if it's mandated, it's going to end with the genocide in Gaza, right, which I'm going to say
is mandated in New York since 1994.
But it's not enforced. But there's money that has been secured, millions and millions of dollars by our local senators, Gwen. Our local senators are making lots of promises and lots of money to protect and secure Holocaust studies, but we're not learning about it.
But let's go back to
where is that money going? That's a bigger question, and
we can definitely talk about that another time.
And the concern that and where there are, and whenever there is a national movement to question where that money is going, those people are considered racist.
Yes.
But Gwen, let's go back to my question.
Weaponization.
Okay. My question is again.
Right. So I'm gonna answer it.
do they really know the impact that they mean, or are they just?
I think some do. I think I think they fall into different categories. And I think less and less, we're seeing less and less critical thinking and more activist engagement.
From the teacher side?
Probably from the teacher side.
Yes,
but
from the
I will
teacher
say
side.
that the
And
Carin,
do they know the impact that they have on young
Of
children?
I
course.
think that Carin can speak more to that. I have been retired for almost 8 years. And remember, almost 8 years. But so she could actually speak more to that. But in the time that I was engaged, there were teachers who actively wanted to engage children. I remember working with a really wonderful teacher of the Holocaust. He did great work. But he kept it, it was kept very on curriculum. You did, and that was okay. I mean, I recognize that there were sensitivities around the groups that he was teaching, but there was not a lot of room for dissent in that conversation. And this is in a school that by the end, even though they taught it, I actually saw a lot of swastikas, on the backs of chairs. This is in Queens, and I was like, no, how did a swastika, and again, it's not like we are the center of like neo-Nazi world here, but I was told that all the time. It's the neo-Nazis doing it, but I'm seeing it in my city school, which is all children.
See it on the walking path near our house.
Yeah, same. Mm-hmm. So I would say that I think that it's probably varied, but what I will say is that teachers that want to speak out have to remain silent.
They're scared.
They are absolutely scared of losing their jobs. They're scared of being given the worst job on the floor. They're scared of the possibility that there are people on the opposite side who can target them and dox them.
On the flip side of that, and I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, please do.
I think that
Please do,
we can
'cause
do
you
a
could speak
whole
more to that.
episode about that, and we'll do it because I have some ideas.
Okay.
There are teachers that are put into those roles
On purpose.
to promote our elected officials that are currently sitting in office that make videos in their classroom during school time with students in the classroom about how amazing the current administration is. But if things were done on the reverse, it would be problematic. So this fear that this group has, I had that fear too.
I bet.
I had been sitting in meetings
I bet.
and not realizing that I was being given papers. I was sitting as a parent representing my child's school on a school leadership team, and I was given by New York City Public School activities to do as a parent. And I had to write down what white privilege was. And then I had to talk about how we need to give more white privilege. So I got myself very involved in groups because I needed to see what they were teaching our children. And I joined the equity team at one of my children's school. They were starting a new group. And we came to sit at the first meeting. And I listened, which is unusual for me, as you know.
I agree.
They put up a mission, what we're going to do. I took pictures of the slides. I went home and I read what was written there. And what was written? It talked about what whites tend to do.
Wow, this is in Queens, huh?
This is in Queens. Yeah. So this was in the last 3 to 5 years. But now I've gotten stronger and I'm not afraid. Call me an Islamophobe, call me a racist, call me a Karen. It's okay.
And
Because, wait, so I just want to, the next meeting we come back and I'm nervous. I'm not going to lie and tell you that I didn't sit there and I had like butterflies in my belly. And the parents in the group are a mixed group. And I raised my hand and I said, I really want to be a part of this group because equity is important. But when I look at that quote and I pointed to the smartboard, I'm not sure if you guys know, but I'm white and I'm Jewish. And a quote like that doesn't include me. So is this a group about being inclusive? And the person leading the group said, you know what, you're right. And we changed the mission. And as a group, we rewrote the mission of what we wanted to do. But most people are not as bold as I am.
Exactly. And I mean that I resonate with your story. I mean, as I just wrote the Substack on the library, you liked it?
And if you knew how much money
By the
our
way,
local senators also give the library.
By the way, I have heard nothing from the elected officials at all on that.
We'll follow up.
But I did go back to the library, and I wanted to make sure to let them know that the people that are working in the library are caring people. They want to do the right thing, but it's the higher ups in the office that are dictating the curriculum. And let's be very clear, the people that our current administration is surrounding him with are not the representatives of Jews of New York City at all. They don't represent a modicum of New York City or New York State. They are fringe. And yet they are the ones speaking for us all of a sudden, instituting curriculum which basically has completely erased Jews and Israel from the land of Israel.
At every opportunity.
At every opportunity. And have reduced us to a menorah.
Or a bagel.
Or a bagel.
A bagel. Come on, we eat $1,000 bagels at the gala.
You know?
Give the bagel some
Forget
credit.
the fact-
It was invented in
forget the-
Poland
forget the-
because Jews weren't given bread.
Forget the fact that my daughter's a
weren't allowed to
descendant
have
of like
bread.
Iran and Syria, and that those Jews that are here are multitude of Jews that have been kicked out of Arab lands. And there is no mention of any of this anywhere, anyhow.
You know, if you're anti-Israel, you cannot use the cell phone.
Right.
And the leaders, okay.
Or Google.
Like, the leaders, like for instance, what's
Take your
his name?
pacemaker out.
Arafat and the one from Turkey.
Yes,
and
Erdogan.
Something. They were on the brink of being dead. And guess who saved them?
Yeah, Israel.
An Israeli doctor. And they're again against Israel. It's beyond,
It's the 100.
belief.
It's part of the 100.
It's part of the 100-year plan.
This is a very
organized.
If
If there's one thing that any person, whether Jewish or not, should go online, it is all out there. The media doesn't report it. I've actually seen the media try to a little bit, but they always follow it up with something about the genocide.
And that is the difference between the United States and the former Soviet Union or Russia today. Okay, we make plans every 4 years, depending who the president is.
That is true. And you can see that
they don't care if it don't succeed. For them, they always have.
That's true.
That's what the DSA have taken, okay, the communist
And you could
idea.
see right now the media really ramping it up.
Oh, yeah.
For the next few years, so that, we really need to get smart in where we get our media from. And so, I wanted to make that point that all you have to do is go up and look up the Muslim Brotherhood mission statement. Look up and also listen to some people that maybe 5 years ago you were told were neo-Nazis. Just go and listen to them. Like Bridget Gabriel of Act for America, who is super conservative, but has an incredible message. I don't agree with everything she says. I don't agree with all her politics, but this is her.
She's been warning us
She
for a
has
very
been
long
warning
time.
us forever. And she was painted as an absolute neo-Nazi. She's not even white. I mean, we can go on and on. There's a gazillion of them out there. But people, if there was one thing I would hope to see in the schools, when I start to see more civic discourse in the schools, something that brings in
Debate club.
Yeah.
Right? So now you're forced to take a counter position on something, right?
Yes. Like more of that. Like we need to see that come back. I mean,
you have grandkids now that are young.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you two last questions. I don't know if you have any. I want to ask a question about your grandchildren and the kind of world that you hope to leave for them in all this work that you're doing. And then tell us a little bit about this shirt that you have on, because I do want to know a little bit about that. So I'm going to let you take the floor and I'll...
No. I'm not sure. I know that...
What? No.
I want my grandchildren to be able to walk around in America feeling proud of themselves as Americans and proud of themselves as Jews. Jewish Americans have been nothing but patriotic for their entire existence. We belong here. We have a place here. We should never have to hide. We should never have to bend to how other people want to see us. And that is what I wish for them on every front. It's not an anti-message. It's just a pro-Jewish. They can have an intense love of Israel, and with all its stuff. And that's my hope and prayer for them. As for my shirt,
Yes, tell us a little bit about
well,
you.
we love
and
our
Impact.
shirt. So, I mean, I felt kind of in an isolated space, and we talk a lot about how devastating this time is. And I have, since October 8th, felt changes in relationships, changes in how I view people in the world. It's been harder, you know? And I'm trying to get back to a level of regularity, but I also feel very committed to what I do. And the benefit of it has been this unbelievable feeling of finding a purpose. And I wanted to bring that purpose and find other people in my world that share that purpose. And I have, through this impact group, meeting at a rally, a local group, that I feel their vision has such potential. And the potential is because they're willing to kind of reach multiple groups to get a message out of positivity about Jewish people, to get a message out about information that people don't know about the Jewish people, to engage first of all, to engage Jews, for sure, in missions and actions that can help us multiply our place on social media. That is where I kind of feel, and it's funny because people say, oh, you know, I'm older, I'm 63 years old. I know it's shocking, but you know, but I am, and I am considered a senior, and yet I recognize that social media is the eighth front.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt. And if you don't know what that means, it means that there were 7 fronts in the Israeli war. They're still happening as we speak. But the eighth front is social media, and they have basically our enemies. And these are really dangerous enemies. I'm not talking about, you know what's really interesting? I listen to a lot of Palestinians. I feel that there are Palestinians out there that really want to have recovery. They want to have, wait, let me finish.
No,
They
I
want
didn't
to have peace. They exist. And those voices are also silenced.
Yeah, they need to be amplified.
There are groups, and I spoke about them in my latest Substack. Granted, you know, they've had their traumas and stuff from war, not genocide, from war. And they speak about it, but they want to realign with Israel. There are many of them. They do exist, and they are silenced. They have no place in the New York City government whatsoever. Okay? And I feel that we can gather those voices. We can gather non-Jewish voices. There are many people seeing what's going on, but they're too afraid to tackle it alone. And Impact will give them a space where we can all come in and tackle it together, because it really has no place in America. The mission of the Muslim Brotherhood and the Red Green Alliance should have no place in America.
I personally, from my perspective, I want to add with one statement, but she will do the closing statement. The interesting part is, in the United States is the only country in the world when people identify themselves by their heritage. Okay, people that came from Tunis, from other countries, they went to French, they consider themselves French. Here, okay, Jewish American, Afro American, Israeli American, Irish American, whether you know it or not, okay, when you use your identity based on your heritage, that means that one group is inferior or superior to another group.
That's an interesting take.
When I lived in Romania, I adapted to the Romanian culture. I was Romanian. When I lived in Israel, I adapted to Israeli culture. I became Israeli. I live here. I adapted to the American culture. I am an American. However, very proud of my heritage. I'm a very proud Jew. So when we use the word American, that unites. We are one
100%.
nation under God.
God indivisible.
And that is the message that I give it to the students.
100%. I agree. We need to get back to that a bit.
Oh, God, I would love that. that they call it civics, but that's not what civics is today in the schools, right? Very different than what we remember civics to be. I did want to just give you an opportunity if there's anything else. I mean, I know we can talk for the next 3 hours, but are there any other messages that you kind of want to leave us with today before we close out that you want to share?
Especially for the children.
Especially for the children.
I feel that it's more the parents of the children of my message. Parents really need to take some time to look at what is going on in their children's education.
Yep.
Public school, private school. A lot of these movements started in elite private schools. Black, white, Spanish, I don't care where you come from. Really start to think about what your children are learning in school. And be comfortable with listening to other people's perspectives, but don't be comfortable with perspectives that you know that in your heart are really wrong. They're really wrong. It is wrong to say that Jews are committing genocide in Israel. It is wrong. It doesn't take much of a deep dive to find that out. And tell your children it's wrong. And get involved. We may not be able to save them all, but we've got to start somewhere.
We can make an impact, right?
We can
With
make an
one person
impact
at a
with the
time.
next generation, then that would be enough. Thank you for having me.
I want to thank you so much. What you just said is it's so important, and I know like staying involved in your child's education is really tough. People are working, people are so busy, but checking in.
Just check in.
Check in. Ask them like, what are they learning? Check in. Check the facts, right? Know what's happening in the classrooms. Today's conversation reminds us that education doesn't always happen in the classroom, right? But what you said is someone's ability to maybe have a difficult conversation or to tell the truth or to encourage others to think from another perspective, right? Or a little deeper about something. And I think that you do that in your writing so much. So whether it's through your writing, our conversations, becoming a digital defender through Impact.
Oh yeah, I didn't talk much
Right,
about
you
that.
didn't talk that, but
the
you
digital
are
defender,
going to
teaching seniors how to be digital defenders. That's a big
1
part
minute,
of
tell
Impact.
us about one of your new hats that you put on
I am
since you left
working
teaching.
as an educator for seniors to be a digital defender.
seniors?
Not difficult to do, to
I'm
get
not
more
a
engaged
senior.
online, to help us drive the algorithms, to get more involved. Many seniors want to be more involved. They are the most untapped resource we have right now. A lot of people cannot be super engaged online because of their jobs. They can't really speak out publicly, but seniors can. And so we're going around. If anyone's interested, they could message me at Googie1262 in my Instagram,
Okay.
or they could find me on my Facebook. And you could message me and have us come to your church, your synagogue, your civic group, and learn how to be a digital defender for Israel and for the Jews, and for even that's what we're looking at. So
It's incredible. This is another way to amplify our voice, right? Each of us have a voice and they matter. So I want to thank you so much, Gwen, for coming here and continuing to teach all of us all new things.
you're going to get your lesson soon,
Right. So our podcast is called It's All About the Children, right? And if every child listening today and every parent could do one little simple action, imagine what it would do to have a ripple on the rest of the world. I want to thank you all for joining us today on this episode of It's All About the Children, where Sami and I had Gwen Jones-Cintron, Zion Lioness, Substack. Check it out. And we hope to see you back for another episode. Have a beautiful day.